On day 1, I spawned in as a lethal poison lizard in the middle of the deep dark Zelkova forest. Oh, I look like I'm one rad reptile, even though I'm just a little baby lizard. I wonder if I have any powers. I walked over to a tree and swiped at it. I didn't even have a tool or weapon, but it turned out I had a set of awesome poison claws that I could use for claw-based attacks. I certainly wouldn't want to mess with me. But just because I wouldn't mess with me doesn't mean other people wouldn't. This point was proven when a huge, dog-headed guy charged through the forest towards me.
You dares invade the overworld of the mighty Lord Anubis? You are a trespasser, and all trespassers will be annihilated.
Maybe we can work this out. What if I did some work for you? I'm really good at completing quests.
What kind of value would I ever find in a nasty little poison lizard? To have you in my royal sight disgusts me. I will crush you, destroy you, leave not even a memory of your presence. Prepare to meet your doom, lizard!
Before I could even try to reason with him, Anubis blasted a fireball near to me. I didn't feel like taking my chances. I just turned and ran off as fast as I could. Oh no, I'm gonna need to get strong enough to defeat that guy, or I'm toast. I guess being a poison lizard doesn't win you many friends right off the bat. I hid in the forest, but that didn't mean I was out of the woods yet, literally. On day 2, I continued my journey through the forest. It wasn't long until I felt my reptilian stomach rumble and decided that I needed to source some food. I don't see anything meaty around here, so I guess I'll settle for some fruit. Is there an apple tree anywhere near me? I searched for a little while until I found one, before striking it down with my poison claws and grabbing some yummy apples to eat. At least I know now that I won't keel over from hunger. It'll probably be that evil jackal god with the fireballs that does me in. Speaking of the devil, I saw a desiccated desert mummy walking out of the trees near to me. He didn't look friendly, I can tell you that much.
You must be the nasty little lizard that the great Lord Anubis told me about.
Of course you work for him, but why? He doesn't seem like he'd be a chill boss.
Fool! Anubis was the lord of the underworld, and with our help, he has conquered the overworld too. All who defy him must be eliminated.
Not if I have anything to say about it. I struck him with my poison claw attacks, but seeing that the desert mummy was already undead, my poison didn't affect him much. He was too strong. Uh-oh. All I could do was turn around and run, and I kept running until the desert mummy was fully out of sight. It was so frustrating to not be strong enough to defeat anyone. But when I stopped to rest, a ghost miner suddenly materialized right in front of me. Oh no, are you gonna attack me too?
No, Zozo, I am your spirit guide. It is up to me to help you fulfill your destiny.
My destiny?
It is unsafe to discuss here. Come with me.
He talked a good game, so I walked after the mysterious ghost miner. On day 3, the ghostly miner kept leading me through the Zelkova forest until we came upon a strange little cottage in the middle of the woods. This place seems a little suspicious.
This is the dwelling of the mystery sheep, Zozo. He is one of the allies that will help you along your journey to fulfilling your true destiny. Trust in me, and all will be okay in the end.
The ghost miner disappeared. He was certainly a strange guy, but who was I to disagree with the advice of my spirit guardian? Time to speak to the mystery sheep, I guess. I patiently waited at the door until it opened, and the mystery sheep trotted out.
What brings you here, stranger?
I was told to visit you by my spirit guide. He told me that you could help me fulfill my destiny.
Oh yes? And what is your destiny?
Good question. I'm not entirely sure, but it's gotta have something to do with defeating this Lord Anubis guy who attacked me as soon as I arrived.
Ah, Lord Anubis, an arrogant little god, and vain too. I can see why he would despise a little poison lizard like you. But there's good news in that, my friend. If he underestimates you, then you can take him by surprise. If you do that, then you may have a chance to defeat him.
With that advice, I left the cottage to go make my own way in the world. The mystery sheep is right. Underestimating me might be the worst mistake that Anubis ever made. From day 4 to day 5, I kept searching until I found a little clearing in the Zelkova forest, big enough to build a little base for myself. I'm never gonna get strong enough to defeat Anubis if I don't learn to be independent. But I can't accomplish my goals if I don't have the right tools. That's why I slashed down a tree and used its resources to build myself a wooden pickaxe. Then, I didn't waste any time digging into the ground to collect some stone and craft myself a stone pickaxe and a stone sword. The stone sword will be useful if I run into another one of those freaky desert mummies. With my tool building work done for the day, I finally put some effort into building a little base. I made it out of wood and stone to keep it sturdy, and made myself a little bedroom where I could relax when I wasn't out adventuring. My day's progress made my spirit guide, the ghost miner, materialize right in front of me.
Zozo, you have done well. Every step you take brings you closer to your destiny.
Thank you, Ghost Miner. Your advice has been super helpful.
Good. I have a gift for you. Take some of my ghostly energy and feel your power grow.
The Ghost Miner hit me with a blast of powerful spirit energy right in my face, and I could immediately feel myself getting bigger and stronger. I now had 20 hearts, more powerful attacks, and the ability to fire poison blasts.
You will be the one to save us all, Zozo.
From day 6 to day 8, I ventured out of the Zelkova forest for the first time. I decided to wander around the Badlands, which had a warmer climate that's perfect for a cold-blooded poison lizard like me. Feels good to feel the warmth on my scales. But my trip to the Badlands wasn't just an exercise in pure escapism and relaxation. As I walked, I was suddenly ambushed by the same desert mummy who had attacked me earlier.
Time for some pest control. I'm going to destroy you once and for all, you nasty little poison lizard, for the glory of the great Lord Anubis.
I'm not gonna be that easy, Mr. Mummy. I'm a lot stronger than I used to be.
You think that matters to Lord Anubis? I'm just one of his mummy servants. Death is just the beginning, Zozo.
No, it's the end. I fired one of my poison blasts at the mummy to slow him down, then ran in with my stone sword to dash him and slash him until he poofed into nothing. That's what you get for bullying me, you beastly bundle of bandages.
I'm impressed, Zozo. Well done.
I turned and saw a mysterious forest guardian standing right behind me.
You have proven yourself to be a potential friend of the forest, my son. And if you help me rid this sacred place of evil, then I can give you wondrous prizes and powers. Do you agree to help me, Zozo?
That sounds like a great deal to me. Let's go. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the guardian of the forest deeper into the Badlands. It didn't take him long to lead me to a location where a huge, terrifying spider queen was waiting. That's what he wants me to slay? Yikes, I guess I'll try my best. I ran in and tried to mount a sneak attack on the Spider Queen, but my attacks weren't strong enough to leave any lasting damage, and I couldn't say the same for her attacks against me. I ran away as fast as I could until I rendezvoused with the Guardian of the Forest and told him what happened.
I'm sorry for sending you into danger like that, Zozo. All things considered, you're lucky to be alive. Perhaps being a poison lizard allowed you to have a greater immunity to her Spider Queen venom.
I think when I'm stronger, I'll be able to take her down. In the meantime, why don't you come and stay at my base? I really need to gain some allies right now for a battle I'm fighting against Lord Anubis right now.
Of course, you have assisted in my battle, so I will assist in yours. Lead the way, Zozo.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base with the Guardian of the Forest. I immediately set to work, making him a room on the grounds of the base where he could stay while I was training. It wasn't all that impressive, but it was probably a decent place to get some rest at night. After I was done building, the Guardian came over to me with some good news.
I've built some upgrades for your base, Zozo, as an apology for putting you in a dangerous situation before. Go take a look.
The Guardian of the Forest had clearly used his supernatural powers to work fast. He'd built 3 upgrades, a chicken farm with a few chickens already herded inside, a storage room for spare equipment, and a furnace for smelting raw materials. This is incredible, thank you! And in fact, this gives me an idea. I went into a deep cave next to my base, and I explored inside until I found some iron ore, and used my stone pickaxe to mine it. Then, I went back to my base, used the furnace to smelt the ore into ingots, and turned those ingots into an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. I'm really moving up in the world! From day 13 to day 15, the Ghost Miner, my spirit guide, materialized into the base.
Zozo, you must return to the Badlands!
But why spirit guide?
Another one of Anubis's minions, the Desert Mummy, is waiting there. If you defeat him, you will ascend to the next level of strength.
As you wish, spirit guide. I ventured out to the Badlands again, and it didn't take me long to find the exact Desert Mummy that the Ghost Miner had told me about. I pulled out my new iron sword, ran in, and attacked until the Desert Mummy was no more. And this gave me enough XP to upgrade again and level up, getting me up to 30 hearts and giving me a bigger, stronger body and more powerful attacks. Whoa, the Ghost Miner is always worth listening to. From day 16 to day 19, I decided to go and explore the strange, eerie Weeping Witch Forest. It's like something out of a fairy tale, a really weird, spooky fairy tale. And it was an interesting place to explore anyway. It was cold and dark, and it felt like something eerie could pop out from around any corner. So it didn't surprise me when another desert mummy emerged right in front of me, ready to battle.
You have slain my undead brethren, but you won't slay me, Zozo. I will annihilate you in the name of my master, Lord Anubis.
I still don't understand why you're so desperate to destroy me. Doesn't your Lord Anubis have bigger fish to fry? He is a literal god after all.
Your presence offends him. We need no more reason than that to send you to the underworld, cold and lifeless.
Not if I send you first. I battled the desert mummy. Just like the mystery sheep said, the mummy had underestimated me, just like his boss. And in the end, I defeated him. Wait, did he drop some kind of note? I looked around and found a note that had been dropped by the destroyed mummy. It came straight from Anubis, and it said, "You bandaged buffoons have failed me for too long. You must destroy this Zozo before he gets stronger. If he reaches full power, his poison will be able to harm me. We cannot allow that. Destroy him now." So that's why he wants to destroy me so bad. I understand it now. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my favorite mining cave to collect some more iron ore for crafting purposes. All this iron will perfectly match my iron will. I took the ore back to my base and used my furnace to smelt it into some ingots. Soon after, I had myself a tough new iron chestplate. Now I can really take a mean punch. It's time to settle an old score and go squash that evil spider queen. Afterwards, I returned to the Badlands, where I'd first met the guardian of the forest and promised to him that I'd defeat the spider queen that'd been plaguing the area. A poison lizard always pays his debts. I arrived at the spider queen's location, and this time, I was truly ready. With my weapons and powers, I attacked and destroyed the spider queen once and for all, freeing the Badlands from her terror for good. But my terror was just beginning. After defeating the spider queen, I heard something coming quickly towards me. I turned around, and it was Anubis himself.
Zozo, you monster! You destroyed my pet spider! You are truly my arch enemy!
What? I didn't know she was your pet spider. I just knew she was terrorizing creatures of the Badlands.
Yes, because I told her to! I have even more reasons to destroy you now!
I know the actual truth, Anubis. I know that if I get to my full power, my poison will be able to destroy you.
Oh yes, but you'll never get strong enough to be a threat to me. I'll destroy you first.
Anubis blasted me with fireballs, and I ran away as fast as I could. From day 23 to day 26, I managed to get back to my base in the forest with barely a scratch. Anubis had given up chasing me, but only for the time being. Even if he wasn't on my tail now, he was still out there and knew that I could put a stop to his evil plans if I just got stronger. And luckily for me, that was already happening. I met with the guardian of the forest again.
You've done well to slay the Spider Queen, Zozo.
Thanks. I didn't realize she was the pet of Anubis. But hey, without his creepy crawly, he's more vulnerable, right?
We can only hope, Zozo.
I was on a roll, and I couldn't stop now. I headed back to the mines to search for more materials and came across some more iron ore buried underground. I already have an iron sword, pickaxe, and chestplate. What else could come in handy? Oh, a helmet! That would be perfect, having some added armor to protect me. So I turned the iron ore into ingots and crafted myself a brand new helmet. That's when the ghost miner materialized again.
Zozo, come and see.
What is it? I followed my spirit guide. He'd been working on improving my base while I'd been off on my adventures. We'd now had a whole security bunker safe near the main base, a place where we could be secure just in case Anubis' forces ever tried to overrun our base. The bunker was nice and fortified, so they would have had no chance of ever getting in, and we could be nice and protected inside. From day 27 to day 31, I made the decision to venture back towards the Weeping Witch Forest. Even though I'd gotten rid of that nasty desert mummy the last time I was there, the whole place still gave me the creeps. Suddenly, I heard a faint voice, so I looked around to figure out where their voice was coming from. As I turned around, I was startled to see a gigantic axolotl right behind me. Whoa, don't sneak up on me like that.
Oh no, sorry about that, man. People usually spot me coming. On the count of me being a big, bright pink axolotl, didn't mean to startle you.
That's okay. Just tell me you're not working for that big jackal jerk Anubis.
Oh, no, man. In fact, I just wanted to come and say thanks for taking care of that desert mummy of his. Us amphibians and reptiles have got to stick together, right? That mummy destroyed my home, so I'm glad to be rid of him.
Why don't you come back to my base with me?
Aw, thanks, man.
Well, me and Big Axolotl were heading home. He had tons of suggestions about how I could make my base more homey with some new couches and bookshelves. Once we got home, I started to add his suggestions to the base, adding some couches and some bookshelves to liven up the place.
I actually have a real passion for interior design.
After I left Big Axolotl to relax, the ghost miner reappeared.
Zozo, I have another task for you, my son.
What is it? More trouble?
Indeed, I sense there are more of Anubis's forces nearby. We must act swiftly.
From day 32 to day 35, my spirit guide and I both left the safety of my base and headed back to where I had met the mystery sheep. According to the ghostly miner, the poor sheep was under siege from more of Anubis's dastardly desert mummies. The mystery sheep had given me some helpful advice before and offered me guidance when I wasn't sure what my destiny was, so the least I could do to repay him was help him out in his time of need.
Help! Someone, please help!
We arrived at the mystery sheep's dwelling, only to see it was swarming with desert mummies. I had only ever beaten a couple of them before, and only in one-on-one fights. But I had been getting stronger, and my confidence was already increasing, so I leapt into battle! I swiped my iron sword at the mummies, launching a few poison attacks, while making sure the ones up close got a taste of the full fury of my improved combat skills. I took out one and another, but while I was busy fighting my way through them, some of the desert mummies went after the mystery sheep.
Zozo, things look bad. It may be too late for me. Remember your destiny. I know you won't let us down.
I wasn't able to save the mystery sheep. Even by the time I had defeated the other desert mummies, there was no one feeling more defeated than me. From day 36 to day 39, I left to clear my head. The ghost miner offered to come with me so he could comfort me in the wake of losing the mystery sheep, but I told him I'd rather be on my own for a while. I decided I'd head back to the Badlands, feel some more warm sunlight on my scaly lizard skin, in the hopes that might cheer me up. I was contemplating what had gone wrong. I was stronger, but not strong enough to save my friend. Suddenly, while I was thinking to myself, a phantom fox appeared. Greetings, Zozo. I am Phantom Fox, a spirit of swiftness. I know you are grieving the loss of the mystery sheep, but I have a task you must complete. Okay, I know the mystery sheep wanted me to make everyone proud, so I guess me carrying on getting stronger is what he would have wanted. The Phantom Fox led me toward another of Anubis's minions, an Endergast from the Jackal God's underworld. I ran towards it, prepared to fight, and readied my poison attacks. But I quickly found out that my poison had no effect on the Endergast. So my sword had to do, and with a few strong swings, I was able to defeat the ghastly minion. Well done, Zozo. I know that the mystery sheep would be proud. He and all the other spirits are counting on you to defeat the one who turned on us. You mean Anubis was once one of you? Indeed, but he betrayed us and took control of the underworld, becoming its god. Now, he'll stop at nothing to expand his power up here and control everything that is, that was, and that will be. From day 40 to day 43, I made my way back to my base in the Zelkova forest. I was still feeling sad about the loss of the mystery sheep, but a little better after chatting with the Phantom Fox. But any of my sadness quickly disappeared when I saw what awaited me. My friend, the guardian of the forest, had been working on improving my base to cheer me up. The place had been adorned with plenty of pretty banners draped over the walls to decorate the place. Wow, this place looks great! What made you want to go to all this trouble?
Well, Zozo, I knew you needed your spirits lifted after losing an ally, and by improving the look of our base, I hoped it might bring new allies to us so that we can honor the mystery sheep and stand up to Anubis once and for all.
Decorating the base clearly worked, because a little while later, a spider llama arrived looking for a place to stay, so I gladly let them join us. When the day was almost done, I was finally approached by the big axolotl.
Hey man, listen, I've got a favor to ask. I left some of my special netherite ingots back in the Weeping Witch Forest after my old home was destroyed. Think you could help me get them back?
From day 44 to day 49, I headed back to the Weeping Witch Forest to recover the netherite ingots that Big Axolotl had sent me to look for. He still seemed a little uneasy about heading back to where he'd used to live, just in case there were more of Anubis's desert mummies creeping around the place. So I agreed to take on the task. After all, Big Axolotl was a cool guy, and he'd made some really nice improvements to my base, so I thought I'd return the favor to my friend. But I hadn't made it far before Anubis came bursting out behind the trees to ambush me. I knew there was something creepy about this place.
There you are, pesky little poison lizard. You've been trying to get yourself stronger, and I can't have that.
Scared of my poison then?
On the contrary, I have more important things to do than waste my time on a little pest like you. For once I control both the overworld and the underworld, I'll be able to have full control over who lives and dies.
You can't do that. That'd make you a monster.
Oh, you want a monster? I'll show you a monster.
Anubis vanished, but left a powerful warped phantom in his place. I was about to have one heck of a tough fight on my hands against this monster. From day 50 to day 53, I defended myself against the warped phantom's attacks. Since it was a creature straight from Anubis's underworld, it could blast bolts of powerful undead spirit energy at me. I tried my best to fend it off, retreating deeper into the Weeping Witch Forest to try and regain my health and come up with a better plan of attack. But the warped phantom wasn't giving up the pursuit.
You can run all you like, little lizard. My master, Lord Anubis, has told me not to return until you are destroyed.
I used the cover of the trees to stay out of the phantom's line of sight, sneaking around so that I could outflank it and take it by surprise. My plan worked, and I caught the warped phantom off guard and was barely just able to defeat it. But when I did, I noticed it had dropped something. It was a map with directions that led right to Anubis's pyramid. It wasn't a desert biome though, it was all the way over in the snowy taiga. Of course, Anubis might be the god of the underworld, but all his minions and mummies up here in the overworld are undead, so he must have needed to keep them cold. Now I knew where I could find that jackal-headed jerk when the time came to take him on. From day 54 to day 57, I did my best to find my bearings and get back on task to find the netherite ingots my friend Big Axolotl had stashed. But when I got to Big Axolotl's stash, there was a new problem blocking my path: a swarm of fire guardians. These things looked like they would be a tough fight, so I decided to use the same tactic that had helped me beat the warped phantom. I snuck up on them, and before they spotted me coming, I leapt into battle. I used my poisonous attacks, and they worked. The poison slowed the fire guardians down and allowed me to have the upper hand. One by one, I extinguished their flames, and after I defeated them, I looted the netherite ingots from the stash and headed back to the base to return them to my friend, and he was thrilled.
Oh, thanks so much, man. You hang on to them. I didn't really need them, but I thought they'd come in handy for you.
So that's why you sent me to get them.
Yeah, I told you before. We amphibians and reptiles have to look out for each other.
From day 58 to day 62, now that I was back at the safety of the base, I decided it would be best to stick around and work on improving things. After all, if the banners the Forest Guardian had put up were going to bring in more allies, then we'd need to be able to feed everyone. I used some wood to craft fences and expanded the chicken farm at the base, so that we had plenty of room for the chickens to lay loads of eggs for everyone. Who doesn't love eggs for breakfast? It was after I'd worked on expanding the chicken farm that I noticed the state of my iron armor. It had seen a lot of action, and all the bumps and batterings of battle had whittled away at its condition. This wasn't going to keep me protected for much longer, so I headed off back to the mine to search for something stronger. And sure enough, digging deeper, I found some diamonds. Bringing them back to the base, I turned them into a fresh new set of diamond armor and a sword and pickaxe to match. Now I had way more defense against Anubis's undead cronies, my sword could do much more damage against them too, and my new pickaxe would make gathering resources all the easier.
Zozo, behold our latest addition.
My spirit guide, the ghostly miner, showed me around the base's brand new party room. We could gather all our allies here, either to have a good time as friends, or coordinate who would be heading out on adventures, who would be gathering resources, and upgrading the base. Wow, this place is looking great! You must have been listening to Big Axolotl's interior decorating tips. From day 63 to day 66, the Guardian of the Forest had some suggestions for where I should head next.
You still have a ways to go, but time is on our side. While Anubis is regaining his forces and planning his next move, yours should be getting stronger. Head to the desert, Zozo. It can be a harsh place, but the heat there should invigorate a cold-blooded lizard such as yourself. And perhaps you will encounter some new challenges to improve your skills and grow your strength.
And so, I headed off in the direction of the desert. There didn't seem to be much there, mostly just lots of sand. It was coarse and rough, and it got everywhere, but at least here, there was plenty of sunlight to warm me up. All of a sudden, I was startled by an abrupt growling coming from nearby. I drew my diamond sword, trusting it could fight off whatever was coming. I was greeted with the sight of a wolfman and expected him to be one of Anubis's allies.
Relax, friend. I mean you no harm.
Oh, that was surprising. It turned out the wolfman was friendly.
Actually, I've been looking for someone to help me with something, and you seem like just the lizard for the job. What do you say? You up for it?
Sure thing. I came here to get stronger, so let's get to it. From day 67 to day 70, the wolfman led me to an open plain in the middle of the desert.
You see, there's these pesky soul blazes. They attacked me and took all my armor and weapons. I have claw attacks like you, but there are too many of them for me to fight alone, especially without protection from armor. So what I need you to do is draw their attention while I grab my stuff. Then I can help you take the rest of them out.
So, when we spotted the soul blazes, I rushed straight at them. They all turned and charged towards me as I swung my diamond sword and started dishing out much more damage than ever before. Meanwhile, as I battled the soul blazes, my new wolfman friend used his wolf speed to get closer to his gear that laid on the ground. He hurriedly got it all on while I chopped at the soul blazes, and with our combined might, we reduced them to dust.
Awesome! What a great fight! You can really hold your own.
I'm glad I could help. From day 71 to day 74, I was in the snowy taiga biome, feeling much tougher than I had when I started. All the hype that the wolfman had given me made me think I was about ready to take on Anubis himself. I used the map to make my way toward Anubis's pyramid. It was way more accurate than some of the old wooden signs I passed. One of them said, if you like this video, then you can find more by clicking on our channel or searching Zozo. Once I'd made it closer, I started to feel strange. Like I was maybe a little tired. But that all went to the back of my mind the moment I saw Anubis's pyramid, towering over the rest of the frosty landscape. And I didn't have to get much closer for the underworld god to rear his ugly jackal head.
So you've come to give yourself up already, filthy poison lizard?
Nope. I'm a lot stronger now, Anubis. I came to give you a nice big dose of poison and stop all your crazy schemes.
You will try, I'm sure.
We clashed head on, and I took some swings with my diamond sword. But it felt heavier all of a sudden, and so did my armor. Like I was somehow weaker. Of course, it was the cold weather. This place wasn't just perfect for keeping Anubis's undead minions on ice, but the environment of the snowy taiga also made it harder for me to fight him. He dealt me some pretty bad damage, so I had no choice but to retreat for now. From day 75 to day 78, I made the long trek back to my base in the Zelkova forest. The whole time I felt glum. I had been so eager to take on Anubis, but in doing so, I had overlooked one of his major advantages over me. It didn't seem to matter how much stronger I got now, I would still be a poison lizard. And that was why Anubis had set up his pyramid in the snowy taiga. The longer I was in that place, the more dangerous it became for me, thanks to my cold reptilian blood. I didn't even feel like talking to anyone once I was back in the base. Instead, I just went to my room to be on my own for a while. Until, of course, the ghost miner materialized.
Zozo, don't be disheartened. There will be another opportunity to stop Anubis. For now, come and see. We've all been working hard to make some new improvements to protect this place.
I didn't really feel like it, but I let the ghost miner show me around. The base now had a tall watchtower reaching high up above the forest's tree line, so we could keep a lookout for any approaching danger. Even though I was feeling down, I had to admit it was pretty neat. Then, the big axolotl came to speak to me alone.
Hey man, don't worry. Nobody stays down in the dumps for too long. I got you this. Thought it might help. Consider it a thank you for all you've done for me.
Big Axolotl had given me a magic apple. It really did lift my spirits some more. I was lucky to have him as a friend, and even luckier when I ate the magic apple. I felt the magic from the apple transform me into a larger poison lizard, giving me 60 hearts and even a new power, a jump boost, so I could leap even higher on my reptilian legs. From day 79 to day 84, I was ready to pick myself up and try to take on Anubis again. My extra hearts would have made it easier to survive the snowy taiga, and now I had my jump boost. I could get up in the air right into his smug jackal face, and his attacks would miss me. When I made it back, there was no sign of him though, but a pack of thorn wolves tried to take some bites at me, so I showed off some of my newfound strength. They were no match for me.
My, very impressive.
I turned around to see a huge creeper spider. I kept my guard up, but then realized that if they were going to harm me, they could have used the element of surprise when I was fighting the wolves. Instead, the creeper spider offered to show me around the snowy taiga, teaching me a few tricks for staying warm while I was traversing this frosty part of the overworld. But best of all, they showed me how I could use some of Big Axolotl's netherite ingots. By combining them with my diamond sword, I had now made an even more powerful weapon, a netherite sword. From day 85 to day 89, I was heading back to my base to tell my friends the good news, but I was shocked by what awaited me. There was a horde of desert mummies attacking the base. With no time to waste, I rushed into battle to defend my home and my friends from the bandaged baddies. Luckily, my blade of netherite cleaved through most of them with one swing. Seeing I'd taken their numbers down, the remaining desert mummies ran off into the forest. I couldn't let them get away. If they made it back to the snowy taiga, they could tell Anubis exactly where to find my base, and he'd send even more powerful mobs to harm my friends. I rushed after them into the forest. They were a ways ahead of me, and before long, my base had disappeared from view behind all the trees, and so had the desert mummies. Darn it, I had to figure out a way to stop them. While searching the forest, I came across a villager. Hey, have you seen any of Anubis's mummies go this way?
Oh, I have. Please get rid of those horrid undead things.
They pointed me in a direction, but the mummies who'd been causing the villager trouble were a different group. Still, they were Anubis's minions, so I thought it'd be better to take them out nice and quick. My netherite sword made light work of them, and then I kept up the trail of the others, hoping I could reach them in time. From day 90 to day 94, I had been following the desert mummies for quite some time, all the way to the snowy taiga. Oh no, it was too late. They'd be able to report back to Anubis about where my base was. I made sure not to get too close as they approached the Jackal God's pyramid, where they were greeted by a huge beast, a vile ogre.
Good job tracking that poisonous lizard. I will head to that base and destroy what's left on behalf of Lord Anubis. Go and report your findings to him.
Not so fast. I leaped out of cover and stood in the way of the vile ogre.
Ah, there you are. Lord Anubis will be pleased when I tell him you've been destroyed. Do you even know who you're messing with, reptile? I'm Vile Ogre, Anubis's #1 henchman.
Tougher than my poison and netherite sword? From day 95 to day 97, my fight against the vile ogre started. He was bigger and stronger than me, but I had to remind myself that so was I. I'd come a long way since my humble beginnings, but even more importantly, I wasn't fighting just for myself this time. I was fighting to defend my friends who had all worked tirelessly to improve my base, who had helped me persevere when I thought Anubis might beat me, and who had been there for me at my darkest moments. They all deserved protecting, so every swing of my netherite sword or blast of my poison attacks was for them. Luckily for me, the vile ogre didn't realize just how familiar I was with the snowy taiga, thanks to the lessons I'd had from the creeper spider. I was able to use the landscape to my advantage, finding some higher ground that I could leap off of with my jump boost. It sent me high into the air and allowed me to get the jump on him, so to speak. I was able to give him one last strike with my netherite sword and a blast of poison to weaken him.
You bested me. How? How is that possible? Lord Anubis promised I'd be heralded in his new world.
He lied. You and I both know he's not the type to keep his word. He betrayed all the other spirits when he took control of the underworld. My poison will whittle away your remaining health in the next few minutes. Maybe think about using that time wisely.
Fine. Anubis resides in a chamber in the heart of his pyramid, surrounded by his undead armies. You'll never make it to him. You're just one lizard, all alone.
Who said I'd be alone? With the vile ogre defeated, I knew my time to take on Anubis for the final time would soon be at hand. But I was more determined than ever to beat him. I just needed a little help from my friends. On day 98, I made my way back to my base to see that my allies had already made repairs after the desert mummies had attacked. Since I didn't have to worry about repairs, I went to take a quick rest before the big battle. And just like that, the ghost miner appeared to give words of wisdom afterwards.
You've come quite a long way, Zozo. I am very proud, and the mystery sheep would be too.
Thanks. I couldn't have made it this far without such a great spirit guide. I won't let you down. I'll get to Anubis and put a stop to his plans once and for all. The guardian of the forest also had some wisdom to impart to me before I set off on the last part of my journey.
Remember, Zozo, that wherever you are, your true friend will always be with you. Even if we aren't by your side, we can still take us everywhere we go. We all live in the hearts of those that matter to us, and we care about you just as you care about all of those you've helped.
I'll remember. Thanks for everything. And last, but by no means least, my friend, Big Axolotl, seemed to get a bit emotional just as I was about to leave.
Just look after yourself, Zozo, man. You're gonna do great. Just make sure you come back in one piece. Oh man, I promised myself I wouldn't cry.
On day 99, I made my final return to the snowy taiga, prepared for a final showdown with Anubis. The forest guardian was right. I had all my friends with me, and I was fighting to keep them safe. Not just them, but everyone in the overworld. If Anubis got his way, he'd be in control of life and death, and I couldn't let that happen. Even to strangers, because they say a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet. There was a huge horde of desert mummies waiting for me as I arrived at the pyramid. The cold was making them a little tougher than usual, but hopefully it wouldn't take more than a few strikes of my netherite sword to get through them. Suddenly, before I could get down to the fight, I was stopped by the wolfman.
Come on, Zozo. Did you really think I'd leave this fight all to you? Can't let you have all the fun. Hey, nice new sword. That looks awesome.
Thanks, it's still pretty new.
You go on ahead, Zozo, my friend. I'll take these dusty old clowns. Go give that jackal jerk what for.
The wolfman rushed in and led the desert mummies away as I ran in to confront Anubis. On day 100, I finally came face to face with Anubis at the center of his pyramid.
You accursed reptile! You really think you can put a stop to my plans? I am Anubis, god of the underworld, and soon the ruler of the overworld too. You are nothing, just a little lizard with no hope of defeating me.
You talk a big game, but you've been scared of me from the start. You tried to stop me from getting stronger at every turn. That tells me that my poison really can stop you.
Not if I destroy you first.
The final battle was at hand. Anubis came in quick with fast, powerful attacks, so I had to take up my sword to defend against him. He was ferocious. Part of me wondered if I could really beat him. My netherite sword was just enough to deflect his blows, but I couldn't get a good swipe in on him. He was just too quick. But I knew I had to stop Anubis once and for all. I leaped high into the air with my jump boost and launched the strongest poison attack I'd ever made. It blasted Anubis right in the face, and the poison started to immediately take effect. It chipped away at his health more and more, enough for me to jump back towards him and land a final blow with my netherite sword. I've done it! I survived 100 days and defeated Anubis once and for all! The overworld was saved from this jackal-headed jerk. I had fulfilled my destiny and, most importantly, protected all of my friends too.